play your games. We gods play ours.
But the game has rules.
Hello everybody, hope everything's well, and as always, let's jump right into this. Now, as you can see here, they're just openly admitting it now. This is an article by National Geographic, and it says here, these 5 secret societies changed the world from behind closed doors for millennia. Now, we know it's been a lot longer than that, because these secret societies' bloodlines link back to these entities, who was giving them these prime directives and the blueprints to build these technologies and other genetic experiments, etc., from another dimension. And they're able to guide humanity because they don't age.
They probably don't age anymore. You know, a 1%er, you don't know who they are. You don't even know what they look like. You don't even know their name. They could go down and be at a 7-Eleven, you wouldn't even know it. So they could not age and you wouldn't know it. Never get sick. Offsprings would be born. They'd be super smart, super strong. Just quality of life improved in every direction. And I'm sure the 1%ers are enjoying it, while the rest of us are dying with diseases and malformities and stuff. They're walking around, you know, body beautiful. So that's just the medical area. Then, and think about other things: transportation, the vehicles they travel around, home security, all that stuff. Just, you know, it'd be like somebody in modern suburbia looking at a man in a cave. We're the men in the cave.
What very often occurs is that an elite will get to a very old, ripe age, or they will die, or they will die in some sort of an accident publicly. Privately, they are taken, and depending on their level, they are either age regressed or they have their consciousness basically downloaded into a clone that is an exact duplicate of them. They then disappear from the public eye forever and go into these programs or go into retirement. This is something that pops up a lot in the programs, and everyone that is served deeply knows that the elite have access, and many of them never really die.
So this is how they were able to technologically suppress societies and halt the evolutionary process through genetic manipulation. Another way they do it as well is through movies and TV shows, as most of you already know, by using symbols, rituals, and subliminal messages that play in the back of the movie, what you're watching. They also play hints on how they operate and what experiments they're doing and what technologies they're using, psychological operations, etc. This is why the news is completely controlled as well. Okay? And that's why they don't necessarily talk about supernatural phenomenon on that scale. Maybe a few UFO sightings, but that's mostly it. But as you can see here, the Vatican is now preparing guidelines for aberrations and other supernatural phenomenon because the frequencies are changing. And since these supernatural phenomena are occurring more around the world, they need those guidelines for those particular people who don't understand what's going on. And this will be used, again, to manipulate the public. All right. Now, these entities, as you know, are our children, what Barbie Hemmett talked about before. Because we are the fallen gods going through an alchemical process. Okay. Now, this is Space Delta 18. This is the Wikipedia. All right. Now, I'm showing this because on their site right here, they took it down. For obvious reasons, of course. Okay? But here, it's talking about one of their space programs that they have in Space Force. Okay? Let me show a bigger picture of it as well. This is obviously a picture of an Egyptian head. Probably of the star Sirius. It looks like the Mercury though. Okay? And they're paying homage to this. Okay, again, the entities are our children from this other dimension. I talked about this in the video, The Ancient Ones. Okay? Now, I want to play this last clip talking about how the X-Men is real. This is by a PhD. He has his PhD in religious thought and philosophy. He also gets into how that information doesn't come from the past, but also comes from the future, which we talked about before, that this is coming from yourself that's already ascended. Okay? And now these supernatural abilities are now unfolding. And he also talks about how science is studying that. This is just a small clip I'm showing you. I will post the whole the whole interview in the description. But that's it for now. Thank you for listening, and peace and balance to the Ancient Ones.
Yeah. And to just again zoom in on the super and on the Ubermensch, so would that mean that we can all acquire these transcendent states and the capacities that then maybe can be endowed upon you? Clairvoyance, precognition, just the Psi stuff, the X-Men stuff, because it is a bit how I read your book. It's like almost this, this. We are in a X-Men movie in a sense.
It is X-Men stuff. The X-Men mythology is true, Hans. It's just true. But the X-Men mythology is comes out of these historical experiences that have been going on for millennia. I wrote a chapter once in another book called The X-Men Before Their Time. And the X-Men before their time is pretty much everyone. It's pretty much the history of religions. And again, we've forgotten that, and we've shoved things into entertainment, into science fiction, into superhero comics, so we can somehow, I suppose, deal with it or entertain ourselves. But those myths and that pop culture has a very serious foundation, which is us. And our ancestors, and Nietzsche would add, and our descendants, because for Nietzsche, and I think for a lot of the experiencers I work with, influence doesn't just come from the past into the present; it also comes from the future into the present. Time is a block, and it's all happening all at once, essentially, and I think this is one of the keys to the superhumanities, is that you definitely have a historical consciousness. You think about how things are shaped historically in the past, but you also have a future consciousness. You're willing to entertain influences that might in fact be from the other direction, from the future.